Welcome to the Bull and Bear Show, episode number 29. And I'm here with Shady. Shady, I can't see you. What happened there? What happened there? Hey, Shady. What just happened there?
Okay.
There you go. Now I can hear you. Now I can see you. There you go. How you doing, buddy? We're live. Can you hear me? Oh, we lost Shady. All right, well, we lost Shady. He'll be back. Welcome to the Bull and Bear Show, episode number 29. I'm your host, Richard D'Souza, here on the Rich TV Live podcast. I'll have Shady joining me any second, and we're going to go through all the biggest news of the week, all the trending news, trending topics. I know that Shady is in Nashville, Tennessee, and there was a storm coming. I don't know if this has anything to do with the fact that he's having some troubles right now, some technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. Hey, Shady, how you doing,
I
buddy?
don't know what happened.
Hey, well, we're live now,
I'm
so that's
doing
all that
well. How are
matters.
you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good, man. Good to have you on the show, man. We're live for the Bull and Bear Show, episode number 29. We're going to have one-on-one with you today and talk about some of your predictions. I'm also interested in talking a little bit about Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin is absolutely ripping and has been ripping all year. And Kathy Wood, one of the best, I would say, financial gurus of our time, has made a prediction. She's predicted that Bitcoin is going to go to 1.48 million. 1.48 million by 2030. So my question to you is, do you think that that's possible, that we could see Bitcoin at 1.48 million by 2030? What do you think?
Man, like it's such a tough question to answer. Do I think it would go to 1.48 million? I think that that's a little bit far off in my personal opinion. I think it might go to like 1.1, 1.2 at the most. But when we're talking about this stuff, we have to take into, account that we also have outside factors that could contribute to this as well, especially with the new Bitcoin ETF coming up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I personally think it's possible. I know that she made a prediction that she thought it was going to a million by 2030. Now she's up that to 1.48 million. So she's obviously very, very confident that this is going to happen. Now, will it happen? That remains to be seen. But there's a very good chance that it could. There's a very good chance that it could. With BlackRock and all the institutions now deciding that they want to go all in on Bitcoin, I think the price can go as high as it wants. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. They're doing a Bitcoin halving in March, April of next year. That is expecting to be a huge catalyst for Bitcoin. We are expecting Bitcoin ETFs to launch by January 10th. Potentially all of them could be getting approved all around January 10th. That could be a massive boom for Bitcoin. Then you got the Bitcoin halving coming, like I said, March and April of next year. So next year could be absolutely explosive for Bitcoin. And based on historical patterns, which Bitcoin is following to a T right now, we are in the first year of a 3-year bull market, and we will not see the highest of this bull market until 2025. But I do expect to see some serious fireworks in 2024, and we've seen some serious fireworks in 2023. So I expect to see more fireworks in 2024. And I know you're starting to get involved in crypto. We're going to talk about that. But when we do these one-on-ones, we want to talk to our co-host, and you're one of our co-hosts on the show, about who you are. I want you to tell your story. So tell us a little bit about who is Shady.
Okay. Well, I am recently started getting into crypto mainly because I've been hanging around all you guys. I was extremely skeptical about crypto. I've been a bartender for 16 years on and off. Been in management also, and my career just kind of varies through management mostly more than anything else. Um, when I looked into crypto, it was an eye opener. It was a way that anybody can do it. Anybody can get started, but it can be kind of a little bit nerve wracking, a little bit when you're first starting to get into it, because again, terminology, things of that nature. So, but yeah, I love it. I love what I've seen so far for sure.
Yeah, one thing I always tell everyone is like when I got into crypto, I was intimidated too. I was scared. I was scared of the unknown. I had no idea what to expect. And when I got into crypto, I got into a lot of the wrong things. So, my advice is always when someone gets into crypto, everybody wants to go for the home run. They see everyone making crazy amounts of money with small amounts of money. So they want to get rich quick. I get it. But that's not what crypto is. I think people think it is, but it's not. I think crypto is more, you hear the word hodl. Crypto is a place where people buy and hold. Hodl stands for hold on for dear life. People are buying and holding in crypto, but it sounds like, because of things like Shiba Inu and Dogecoin and Bitcoin going up as much as it has, that it's like a get rich quick scheme. But in reality, it's more of a long-term investment where if you hold it, you can see unbelievable returns. And not just Bitcoin, but Ethereum and Shiba Inu during the last bull market and Doge during the last bull market and Ripple previously in the past, we've seen make big moves. And we're going to see other coins like ordinals. We've talked about ordinals. They're starting to make moves now, and Bonk is making a move, and like these are new coins that we never heard of before that are making new moves in this bull market. So it's a brand new bull market, it's a brand new year, and it's a completely new situation, and nobody really knows what's going to be this year's Shiba Inu. Is it going to be Bonk? Is it going to be ordinals? Is Bitcoin going to hit 100,000? Is Bitcoin going to go to 1 million? Nobody really knows. But at the end of the day, we know that Bitcoin's going up. Because when we look at the chart, you can see Bitcoin's gone up from 16,000 this year to 44,000. So it's clearly going up. And the question is, where is it going to go from here? So based on that, my next topic is Bitcoin may reach over 57,000. So some are predicting that Bitcoin may reach over 57,000. Let me just put that on the screen here. Some are predicting that Bitcoin may reach over 57,000 over the pending ETF approval, which I talked about a little bit. What do you think about this? Do you think that we could see Bitcoin go to 57,000 when these ETFs get approved?
Ooh, that's easy. I think that's a definite. I think that's definite. Matter of fact, I think it's gonna be more than 57,000. Me personally,
Wow.
I think
Okay.
it might even go up to 65.
Woo.
Just
All
because of
right.
like, all the commotion behind it. Everybody is talking about this. This is a hot topic. It's a very hot
100%.
topic. And I could
100%.
very easily see it going a lot more further than what people are saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nobody really knows where it's going to
But
go,
again,
right? Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows exactly where it's going to go. But the thing is, when someone like Kathy Wood, who has a great reputation, is saying that it's going to 1.48 million, and her previous prediction was 1 million, that means she's even got more conviction now in the price of Bitcoin than she did before. That's a good sign, right? Don't you think? When Kathy Wood, who's like one of the best analysts on Wall Street, is saying that Bitcoin's going to 1.5 million, and she used to say it was going to go to 1 million, and she's upped it now to 1.5 million. Don't you think that that's a positive thing? Means that she's got more conviction now than she did
yeah.
before, because she's saying that before she was guessing 1 million, now she's guessing 1.5 million. That tells me she believes in it even more now than she did before.
Well,
So,
that's just like, when you were saying 57,000, I was like, I think it could go past that. I think that this commotion that's going on is just boosting this much more.
yeah, I think that the sky's the limit for Bitcoin. It's an exciting place to be. And I think everybody needs to be in Bitcoin. We've been talking about it nonstop. I actually started talking about Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at $1,000. Today, Bitcoin is at $43,700. It's a 43x since I started talking about it in 2017. So Bitcoin has been an absolute monster and made so many people money. But yet a lot of people sit on the sidelines. There's a lot of people like you that were out there and just like, not really comfortable to get into crypto, and I was not comfortable before I got into crypto. So my next question to you is, why did you start trading?
Well, when you look at all the other investments you can make, they're very easily manipulated by outside factors such as government or, a catastrophe, an epidemic, a pandemic. But for some reason, you look at crypto and it really didn't take as big of a loss during those times. And it's more stable. It's a more stable thing to be into. Like, we've seen stock market crashes over and over and over, but nobody's truly seen a real crypto crash, you know? So to me, when I'm looking at it from the outside, in, I'm thinking, okay, this might be actually something that is more stable, more legitimate. I have more ways of controlling it. I don't have to go through a stockbroker in order to make this happen. I can do it myself. I'm my own stockbroker in this. And I think that having that ownership of it and the fact that you can just go out and do it yourself is a big factor in it.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. I've never heard cryptos be considered stable over the stock market. That's the first time. I don't know if I agree with that because there's a lot of volatility in crypto, and crypto follows a pattern where it goes up for 3 years. When I say crypto, I mean Bitcoin and Ethereum mainly, and then the other coins as well, but specifically the big ones. Bitcoin and Ethereum follow a pattern of up for 3 years, down for one. So once you understand the pattern and you can learn how to take advantage of that, it can be extremely lucrative, right? It can be really,
Oh,
really
I agree.
lucrative. But you have to see the pattern. You have to study the pattern. You have to understand why the pattern's happening. You have to understand what is Bitcoin having? What does this mean every 4 years? What is the pattern? And how can I buy when it's down and sell when it's up and take advantage of this pattern? We've identified the pattern. We talked about it, and exactly as we said it would happen, it has happened, right? We've been doing this show all year, and since we've been doing this show, we've been talking about how the price of Bitcoin was going to go up, and so far this year, all the price of Bitcoin's done has gone up. So much so that it's at the highest it's been all
Yes, it
year right
has.
now.
The entire time.
It's the highest it's been all year right now. It's at a 52-week high right now. If I can show you the chart, like if we look at the chart, you'll see it is at a 52-week high. Look, I'll show you. Here's the 1 year chart. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull it up. I'm going to show you the Bitcoin chart, and you're going to see it is right around a 52-week high. I was actually studying this earlier, and I really like to look at charts a lot. So this is the whole year, and you can see it started at 16,000, and we're right now at the highest it's been all year. You can see the green is the highest it's been all year, and the highest it's been is 44,900, which happened just like in the last 48 hours. And then that's just very, very, very little compared to where we are right now. Like we're not that much down compared to its 52-week high. It's right there. We're right there. So on the next bump up, we're going to hit 45,000. That's the next leg up. We're going to go to 45,000, and then it's going to make its push to 50,000. So this is extremely bullish price action for Bitcoin. And all the other smaller coins are following in Bitcoin's footsteps because Bitcoin is the mothership of crypto. So I believe that the upside for crypto is tremendous, and it's really, really exciting. Now, my next question is, I want to talk about the markets, the stock markets, because as well as crypto, obviously, I trade the markets, I trade stocks, talk about stocks every day, I watch stocks every day, I invest in stocks every single day. So the S&P 500 is one of the largest exchanges in the United States. There's the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and there is the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P 500, NASDAQ. And S&P 500 has lots of great companies, and the S&P 500 is being predicted to jump to a new record high of 5,000 next year from an RBC analyst, joining a bullish outlook for 2024. What do you think about this? Do you think that next year the stock market is going to be up, or do you think the stock market's going to go down? Because this year the stock market's gone up and this year crypto's gone up. So do you think that that trend continues next year?
Absolutely. I mean, it's also election year. There's
That's right.
a lot of things happening in election year, but I definitely think they're completely accurate on it for sure.
All right. And so I agree with you. I think that we're going to see the market continue to go up because there's a lot of catalysts. There is the election year, like you mentioned. And in addition to the election year, there is the catalyst of Bitcoin booming. And if Bitcoin booms, that will also affect the market. So I think the market going up with Bitcoin booming and all the Bitcoin related stocks, I think AI continues to do well next year. We have an election year. So there's all these reasons why the market can do better. Plus, I think the Fed is done with raising rates. If they start reducing rates next year, that's another massive potential catalyst for the markets. So I think there's a lot of catalysts for the markets next year. And I believe next year we will see the markets continue to be strong. Now, my next question for you is, what have been your scariest moments so far getting into investing?
Well, there was always the surrounding thought of security. You know, is my money going to be secured when I'm buying these coins? Because we've all heard about scams in the past, but I think now that crypto's had time, what has it been like about 12, 13 years now, maybe a little bit
Yeah,
longer
about 14
of
years
where
since
it kind of started.
2009.
Yeah. And, a couple years after that, general public started really getting into it. And I think that it's come a long way. I think that there's a lot more security measures behind it. I think that it's, something that everybody kind of needs to be educated on, really. I think the only reason why so many people are not in crypto is because they're not educated on it. Like me, for example, that was the scariest thing for me. It was scary for me to take my money and put it on something that I barely knew anything about. But again, no risk, no reward. And I think I would rather have my money in crypto than I would in the stock market. It's easier for me to understand. It's easier for me to deal with, and just all around the process is so much easier to learn about.
It's funny. Earl says, sounds like my prediction. Wanted to come to this show and support you guys. I appreciate that, Earl. I think that, trading and investing is exciting. So many people, they gamble, right? They gamble in casinos, they gamble in the stock market, they gamble in crypto, they gamble in real estate, they gamble in horse racing. There's a million different ways to gamble. I think that investing is a gambling strategy that allows you to do research, that if you do the right research and you learn how to research companies properly, can give you a better chance of winning than the average gamble. That's the way I look at it. So when I research companies for stocks, or I research companies in crypto, specifically Bitcoin, I put a lot of research into Bitcoin. And once I started researching and really understanding Bitcoin, I realized that Bitcoin was probably the greatest investment of my lifetime. And it would be probably the greatest opportunity as an investor of my lifetime to get into Bitcoin. And I still believe that. I still believe that Bitcoin can give you the biggest upside of anything else that you want to invest in right now. I think it'll give you bigger upside than investing in real estate. I think it'll give you bigger upside than investing in the stock market. I think it'll give you bigger upside than investing in anything that's legal. Now, maybe there may be other things out there that you can do that might maybe makes you more money, but right now it's legal to buy Bitcoin. So if you buy Bitcoin today and it goes from 40,000 to a million, like Kathy Wood has predicted, that's a 25 times your money in 6 years. Where are you going to make 25 times your money in 6 years? 25 times your money is massive. That's like turning 10 grand into 250 grand. That would turn 100 grand into $2.5 million. That can be life changing for people. And that's the type of money and the potential that Bitcoin has. And that's why I've been talking about it. That's why I have a Bitcoin on my desk, and I've been sitting here talking about Bitcoin for all this time, for all these years. And I've been trying to get as many people as possible into Bitcoin, and to invest into Bitcoin and to position themselves into this situation where when the market is taking off like it is right now, you're in a position to take advantage of it. And if you are the type of investor that is able to see the future and you know that you're going to buy something that's going to go up because there's all of these catalysts that have proven that every time during this time of the year, based on the Bitcoin halving process, that Bitcoin booms. And what's it doing? It's booming. Then you kind of know that it's going to continue to go higher and you can make good investing decisions. So it'd be silly not to take advantage of that.
I mean,
This is
it's
what
a
I told you.
calculated risk.
Like, wouldn't it be silly not to take advantage of this if you've done all the research? You know that it's going to go up and it's going up right in your face. What are you going to do? Just sit on the sidelines? You can't sit on the sidelines. You have to get involved, right? Or else you're going to miss the boat and miss out on potentially one of the greatest investing opportunities of your lifetime. Who wants to miss
Well, my
that?
thing is this. You mentioned a couple of things that I completely agree with. It is a calculated risk. I mean, that's basically what it is, a calculated risk versus a full out potential risk.
That's
And,
what I'm saying. If I go to the
if,
casino and I
yeah,
put it all on black, I think I would rather invest with something where I've been able to do the research, right? Where I've been able
absolutely.
to do the research and say, okay, I've researched Bitcoin, and these are all the reasons why I think it can go higher. I don't think Kathy Wood is crazy. I think she's actually smart, and I think that she's done a lot of research. And when she says that it goes to 1.4 million, I think there's a very good chance it goes to a million. Maybe not 1.4, but if it goes to a million and you're holding one of these bad boys and they're sitting at 43,000 and it goes to a million, that means you're a millionaire. You just got to wait.
So, a guess. What do you think? What do you think it's going to hit by 2030? You just had to
I
throw
think
out a
it's going to hit
random
a
number.
million. I think it's going to hit a million. I think it's
I
going
think
to
it's
hit
going to hit a million.
100,000 during this. I think it's going to hit 100,000 during this bull market, either next year or the year after. And I believe by 2030, it'll hit a million. But I also believe that by 2026, it's going to drop. So whether we hit 100 or 150 or 250 or 350 during this bull market, I believe there will be a 70% drop from the top, whatever that top is. And if that top is 100, the 70% drop takes it back down to 30. If the top is 300, the 70% drop will take it down to 100. So it really kind of depends how high we go. But I do believe by 2030, with all the ETFs coming, all the institutions getting involved, the fact there's only 21 million Bitcoin for all of us to share, I think the upside for Bitcoin is tremendous. I just don't see how it doesn't go to a million by 2030. And I think there's a very good chance it could go to 1.5 million, like Kathy Wood is predicting, just because of the trajectory and the direction of how it's going up. And I showed you on the chart how it's gone up this year from 16,000 to 44,000. And we're sitting at 43,700 right now. It's 43,800 right now. I mean, it's really, really strong. It's got tons of momentum. And I really believe that this momentum is going to continue. I mean, just look at the chart. That's a lot of momentum. It's just shooting up. And it's trading right around a 52-week high. What's going to stop this? At this point, nothing. Nothing can stop it, in my opinion. All right, let's get into this next topic. And this is about Hunter Biden. So a lot of people are saying that the Hunter Biden family is well, I'll read this. Hunter Biden's attorney claims nobody else would be indicted in the same situation as the first son faces 17 years in prison for evading 1.4 million tax bill. So first was Donald Trump having all kinds of legal troubles. Now the Bidens are starting to have legal troubles. What do you think about this? 17 years in prison for Hunter Biden because he's not paying a $1.4 million tax bill. Can't his dad, who's the president, just pay that bill for him? What do you think? Oh, we lost him. I think we're having some technical difficulties with Shady. I'll just wait for him. 1 second here. I have some questions from the audience. Have you personally bought anything with Bitcoin? Absolutely. Yes. I buy and sell and trade Bitcoin all the time. Shady.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. We've had some bad weather out here today, so
Yeah, no
the
problem.
signals kind of keep dropping.
So there's a question from Mark in the chat saying, have you personally bought anything with Bitcoin? The answer is yes, many times. And I heard that there are a couple billionaires holding the bag at 50,000, waiting to pull the rug, then back to 16,000. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. Anything is possible with Bitcoin, right? And I must remind you guys that Rich TV Live, we are strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your due diligence and do your research before you invest in anything we talk about or discuss. Past performance is not indication of future results. And we don't sit there and hold the market up so that everyone can sell. I wish we could do that. If we could do that, we would, but we're not at that point yet. I'm not here to argue about anyone about where Bitcoin's going to go. I know that I'm a holder, and there's only 1 million holders in the world that have 1 million wallets in the world that have one or more Bitcoin. And I'm one of those holders, and I'm proud to be that. And if you're like me and you're a Bitcoin maximalist and you believe that the price is going to go to 1 million by 2030, you don't want to sell any Bitcoin. But have I sold Bitcoin? Yes. Have I bought and sold Bitcoin? Yes. Have I used it to purchase things? Yes. Have I sold crypto, cashed it out into my bank account, and then used it to buy and sell things, pay bills? Yes. Absolutely all of the above, and very easily and consistently for years. So, Shady, what do you think about this? Hunter Biden and his family getting into trouble, and Hunter Biden owing 1.4 million in tax evasion, and apparently on the hook for maybe 17 years in jail. Do you think that Hunter Biden's going to go to jail?
I don't think he's going to go to jail. I think there's a lot more than $1.4 million that we're missing here. I think that'll even come later on as well. I think that Hunter Biden, the only way he's going to go to jail is if the Republican Party sends him there. And that means that they got to drag this case out as long as they can through the next election in order to make that happen. But as we know, in the United States, you have a right to a speedy trial. With that being said, he could walk away with just getting his hands slapped and taking some fines. However, I think that all of this is coming about at the time it is for election reasons. They've tried to pin so much stuff on Trump. It's ridiculous. Like so many different things that have not stuck. But we have all these things on the Biden family and the people surrounding the Biden family, like Pelosi, Harris, even Jen Psaki in the background. And all of these people are in collusion together. And when you look at the whole picture, that's just something that I just don't see him going to jail, and unless it is after a Republican is elected.
Okay. All right. And my next question for you personally is this. Now, what have been your most exciting moments so far in investing, and investing specifically with crypto?
Oh, um, I would have to say it was the other day. I looked on my phone and I was like, oh, wow, I'm like 20% up on this and 10% up on this and 15% up on this. And it just kind of gave me like that little bit of hope, you know, that little bit of, okay, I can work with this. I can expand this. I can build on this. And I think it would be really cool to see someone, anybody in this world take $100 and turn it into 1 million. And I think that you can very easily do that in the crypto world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's easy. I don't think anything is easy, but I think it definitely
Well,
happens.
I
There's
say
no doubt
easy.
about it.
I think it's easy to get
I think it's
into it enough.
easier. I think it's easier because I look at
Yeah.
stocks like it's a great way to make money. The two ways traditionally that made the most money, most millionaires, were investing in stocks and real estate. Traditionally, those are the two ways that most people became millionaires previously. Now you got to add crypto to that. Many millionaires and billionaires have been minted in crypto. Now NFTs are joining the party, and people are becoming millionaires in NFTs too. So it's like waves of money coming into all of this new ways of technology and new ways of making money. Is it easy though? No. I don't think it's easy.
Well, no, it's definitely not easy to
You
sit
got to
there and
be at
look
the
through
right
it.
place
And
at the right time.
yeah,
If you invest
most
in something
definitely.
like Bitcoin, I think it's more of like a
Forgive me.
long-term. And no,
I think,
I'm not. You don't even have to
yeah.
forgive yourself. It's easier because I look at stocks, like I said, that they're a great way to make money. But when I look at crypto, to me, it's like stocks on steroids. You know, like there will be stocks that will go up 500%, 100%, 1,000% in a day, but there might be like 5 or 10 of those a year. Whereas with crypto, when crypto's hot, you might get like 5 or 10 of those a day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like different. It's like
Absolutely.
it's easier. I wouldn't say it's easy. I would say it's
Well,
easier.
when I was saying easy,
That's why
it's
a
like
lot of
it's
people get
easy.
into it.
It's I guess I should have like clarified a little bit more. It's easy to get into it. It's easy to get addicted to this because it's something
100%
that,
it is.
it's not like the stock market. The stock market is wild trying to understand that compared to crypto. I mean, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of things that make crypto easier for me to get into versus me looking at stocks. And that's just me personally, not for the average.
All right. Well, this is my next question here. This is about Jeff Bezos. He might beat Musk to Mars as NASA recruits Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. What do you think about this fight between billionaires, Bezos and Musk, and who can get to Mars first? Do you even pay
Mm.
attention to that? Do you think anyone's even really going to Mars? Like, does this make any sense to you? Like, do you care?
This is
Like,
it's almost it's
two
almost like one of those
billionaires, two
scenarios.
billionaires just trying to be more
Yeah.
ridiculous than the other.
Well, I don't even look at it like that. I look at it as, you have Big Brother, Elon Musk, who's been there, done that. He's been through SpaceX. He's got all of these different technologies he's coming out with, most of them being green friendly. And you got Bezos coming on and trying, it's like little brother versus big brother. Big brother's already experienced, already been through it. Little brother's trying to catch up. And that's how I look at Musk and Bezos.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like these guys are. It's almost like they're just billionaires just competing in their own little world, and they have so much money they don't even know what to do with it. So they're like, "Oh, let's just send some people to Mars," you
Well, it's
know?
kind of beneficial
Um,
to the average person, though. If you have these two billionaires just going at it for technology, then there are going to be some really great things to come out of this. We need this competition
I hope
for
so.
sure.
I hope so. I don't really believe anything when they say we sent guys to the moon and all this stuff. I really don't believe any of it. So that's why this whole sending things to Mars just like, yeah, okay, sure. I'll believe it when I see it. All right, let's get into the next question. So this is something that I'm really excited about. What are your top picks for 2024?
Ooh, okay. All right. So I know that we discussed that I would come up with 10, so I did. And they were actually,
Perfect.
that was exactly the amount that I had been looking at. And my 10 so far, I've got Jito, Big Tom, which is like kind of like my wild card. That could just go either way.
Okay, so far he's going to give us his 10 picks. He's brand new in crypto, and these are 10 picks that he just bought or he's looking at. So number 10 is Jito, Jito. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to write them down on YouTube. I'm going to just put them right in the chat there.
Okay.
Go
Um,
ahead.
and And before I say any of these, understand that I am new into this, but I did some research into each one of these individually and what kind of companies they run behind the scenes for their assets. But I've got
Perfect.
Jito, I've got Big Time, which is video game based. I've got Ordinals, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche. Am I going too
Slow
fast for
down,
you,
slow
Rich?
down, slow down, slow down. Okay, you got JITO is number 10. Big Time is number 9. Ordinals,
Absolutely.
ORDI is number 8. Bitcoin Cash is number 7. Sorry, what was after that?
Okay, and then if I'm going in order, then it would be Avalanche.
Avalanche. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's number
And
6.
Sandbox,
Sandbox, number 5. Okay.
um, Pancake Swap.
I like Pancake
That
Swap.
was
It's a good pick. Pancake Swap. I also like Sushi Swap. Okay, Pancake Swap. You got 10, 9,
EOS.
8, 6, 5, 4. EOS.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. And
2
then, of
more.
course, top two, Ethereum and Bitcoin.
Oh, those are my top 2, my man. All right. I like your list. You got a good list. JITO number 10, Big Time number 9, Ordi number 8. We all been wanting to get into ordinals. For those of you guys that do not know, ordinals is literally like a mini Bitcoin. They have the same amount of tokens as Bitcoin, And when you buy a Bitcoin ordinal, you're essentially buying NFTs on the Bitcoin blockchain. I like that pick. I need some ordinals in my life. That is number 8. Bitcoin Cash has actually quietly done extremely well this year. Number 7. Avalanche, number 6. Sandbox in number 5. Pancake Swap, number 4. EOS, number 3. Ethereum, number 2. And Bitcoin, number 1. I like those picks. Some solid picks. Anything else you
I
want to
just
say about
listened
your
to you
pick?
guys. I mean, you guys told me, hey, when you look these coins up, look into what they represent, look at the companies they represent. That's going to tell you a lot about what you kind of want to put your money down on. And again, due diligence for sure. I'm definitely doing mine.
Very good. Very good. Oh, I like your picks. I like the fact that you've got the confidence to come out here, even though you're new at investing, and share your top 10 picks with whoever wants to watch. It takes a lot of guts to do that. A lot of people don't want to share their picks. A lot of people are insecure about their picks. But I love the fact that here on the Rich TV Live podcast, we can share our ideas. And that way, if we find things that are winners, we can all profit from them. So that's like a win-win situation. To me, that is the epitome of working well with your community, being able to share winners, share ideas, and make money in real time. That's really at the that is the epicenter of what I believe I want my community to be all about. Sharing ideas and making money in real time. And that's exactly what we're doing when we're sharing these ideas. So I think your picks are really, really good. And we'll watch them and monitor them throughout the next little while. And my next question is actually about JP Morgan. All right, let's get into this. JP Morgan, here it is. JP Morgan cites XRP and Ripple as players in unlocking 120 billion value trapped in cross-border payments. So, what do you think about this? This is essentially JP Morgan saying, and JP Morgan's weird. They come out and say some weird things and negative things. They just came out, the CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, just came out and said he doesn't like Bitcoin. He thinks it should all be illegal. And then they come out and say on something else that XRP and Ripple could unlock 120 billion in value in trading digital money. What do you think about this? Do you think that Ripple could be a coin that could be a sleeper that we can make some money with? I noticed it wasn't in your top 10.
I didn't keep it in my top 10 because it's so iffy. That's when I
Yeah.
just look at and I'm like, okay, is this going to make it or break it this time? Because we've been through this road before. If you look back in the history, I mean, I can't say that it won't. I can't say it's not a sleeper because look at Ethereum. You know, Ethereum made a comeback out of nowhere. When a lot of people were talking a lot differently about Ethereum, and I just remember hearing about it. And yeah, I mean, it's possible. Is it probable? I don't know that either. I think only time will tell on that one.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And Ripple's one of those coins where I always thought that it would be one of the coins that was going to be used heavily by the Fed. And I still believe it will. But there's been so many other coins now that are trying to catch up to Ripple. I'm starting to wonder if it's taking too long for them to take advantage of that first mover advantage. And I'm wondering if now other coins are going to start to take on that role, maybe more so than them. So I'm not saying they will, but it's something I think about, something that's a possibility. And the longer it takes for them with the SEC and all these lawsuits and all these delays they've had to really, because the coin really hasn't moved. Like Bitcoin's moved, a lot of other coins have moved. Ripple really hasn't moved like a lot of other coins. A lot of that has to do with the fact that they've been, fighting with the SEC. So it's going to be interesting to see. But in my opinion, it is one of the best coins in my opinion, the best coin that could potentially be used for Swift code, for wire transfers. So there's huge potential for Ripple. But for whatever reason, the
Well,
coin itself hasn't done extraordinarily well when you compare it to other coins that have performed at a very high level. All right. So my next question for you is, Where do you see the markets going next year?
All bull. I
They're
mean,
all bull.
everybody's
Okay.
talking about it. Yeah. Maybe not through the whole year, but definitely first half of the year. Definitely first half of the year. I think that, like I said, earlier, I think Bitcoin ETFs are going to be a factor. I think that, the fact that the halvings are going to be a factor. I mean, all these things combined at once, plus it's election year. I mean, economy might take off again. I mean, there's no telling, but me personally, I think that's the direction we're headed in.
Yeah, I think that that's a very good prediction. We talked about this earlier. I think there's so many catalysts. Bitcoin's very likely going to continue to do well. We've got the markets most likely going to continue to do well due to the fact that the Fed is most likely going to cut rates as opposed to raising rates. I mean, I hope they don't raise rates anymore, but some are predicting that next year they're going to cut rates. That could be bullish for the market. We've got the elections. That could be bullish for the market. And historically, elections have always been bullish for the market. So there's all of these catalysts saying that next year is going to be a really good year. And in reality, this year wasn't the greatest year. And last year was a bad year. So if last year was a bad year and this year was pretty decent year, especially if you're in crypto and in Bitcoin, pretty good year. If you're in the Magnificent Seven stocks, it was a great year. But all the other stocks have underperformed. Small caps have underperformed. Oil and gas stocks have underperformed. Gold has done pretty well. Gold's at around 2000 and traded at an all-time high just recently. So gold's performed well, but even gold stocks haven't done that great, considering the fact that gold just hit an all-time high. So the markets have been kind of, like certain assets have done well, but a lot of others have struggled, right? But Nvidia has done extremely well this year. Meta's done really well this year. Apple's doing very well. Uh, Amazon's doing very well. Google's doing very well. Uber's done very well. DraftKings has done very well. So there's a list of companies out there that have done very well. Tesla's done very well. But there's also a lot of others that have struggled. So there's still a lot of room for stocks and crypto to go up next year. So we can make a lot of money next year. And I think we need to be on point next year and take advantage of the momentum as it happens. And I will be watching the markets like a hawk every single day. I promise you. And in the world of stocks, cryptos, NFTs, real estate, you name it, we'll be watching the markets and we'll be identifying all the opportunities as they happen. And right now, one of the greatest places to be in is just in Bitcoin and cryptos because there's a lot of movements happening. We talked about some of the stocks and some of the cryptos that are doing well right now. Now, the next topic, let's get into this. This is the next topic. Reoccurring jobless claims fall in holiday week after big jump. So this is one of the reasons why the market's doing well. And it's because of the jobless claims. What do you think? Like you're in America right now. So what is it like? Is there a lot of jobs in America right now? Do you feel like it's easy to get a job in America? Do you think it's hard to get a job in
Mm.
America? What is it with the jobs in America? Because every time Biden talks, he talks like, "Oh, our jobs are strong, our market's strong, we got lots of jobs." Is that the case as an American? Do people feel like there's lots of jobs?
I
What
mean,
do you think?
yes and no. I would say my answer is yes and no. If
Okay.
you want a decent job, no. If you want
Okay.
a barely make it by survival type job, yes. I think the reasoning for that is, we've elongated this process. This is something that I would love to talk about. Um, when you go to apply now versus 10 years ago, I used to be able to go apply the next day I would be starting to work. The background checks, they didn't really do a whole lot of that, which I'm glad they do now. Don't get me wrong, but they really needs to be a process. Whereas 10 years ago, I could get a job and then start within that week. Nowadays, you go through these processes and it takes 6 to 8 weeks on average to get into a job. That's background checks one week, drug tests the next week, 2 interviews week apart. And then you have orientation, then you have training, and by the time you're on the floor, you're 7 weeks in. So you're technically, a lot of Americans, the problem that they see is like the starting process of getting on to a job. And that has elongated out so far due to all applications being online instead of the person actually going to the place and putting the application in on paper. I think the process is moving a lot slower. I think that's a major factor in the jobless category. The other factor that I'm seeing is, I hate to say it, but this younger generation is not used to the same kind of work ethic on a majority level. Not all of them, but on a majority level of them. When the pandemic hit, there were a lot of people that did not go back to work immediately, and that hurts their chances. Some of them just couldn't go back to work immediately, and that hurt their chances as well. I mean, when your new employer is asking you, or prospective new employer is asking you, about your work history, and then you look at COVID and your work history is all jumbled, it just makes it that much harder. So I think all those things combined have made it such a harder process for the average person to go from one job to another or get started on a job.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of jobs here in Canada. I don't see anyone saying it's hard to get a job, but like you said, it's hard to get good jobs. And and what's happening is, to get that good job, you have to have a very high level of education. So it's becoming really, really hard to get the good jobs. You have to have like the best resume to get qualified for those good jobs. So then what's left is like the jobs that, like you said, a lot of people don't want. So what happens is a lot of those are going to immigrants and different people that are just like, they'll just take anything, right? Because they're just hungry. They're hungrier than the average person is. And I think that's what's happening. And that's why they're saying there is a lot of jobless claims around Christmas, because around Christmas, people need money. And that's when they'll go and they'll put a claim in saying, oh, I'm not working right now because they want some extra money because it's Christmas. And they're going to make those claims right around the holidays. So I think that's why they're seeing those claims are, going up like that. Um, why the nickname Shady?
Oh, okay. When I was a kid, I really liked Eminem. That's really what it
Okay.
was. I was
All right.
addicted to listening to him. I mean, granted, he was the greatest rapper of all time, arguably. But that's, I don't know. He just represented a lot when I was growing up. He was kind of like my hero of like, hey, anything that comes your way in life, you just gotta have that alpha male mentality to deal with it. And that's the vibe I always got off of him. So I chose Shady as a nickname because all my friends called me Shady when I was a kid because I was always listening to his music, and it just kind of went on from there.
Okay, cool. That's an interesting story. Now, my next topic is about the war. So, this is a very sad situation that's happening in the war. And essentially, in the Israel Gaza war, half of Gaza's population is starving. Uh, this war was like front page news for quite some time. Now all of a sudden it's starting to be talked about less and less and less. I feel like it's going to get to the point where we don't even talk about it pretty soon. What do you think about this? We're in a war right now where it seems extremely one-sided in this war now, and half of the people are starving. What's your opinion on this right now?
Well, it's man, it's such a tough thing to talk about because you know you hear people starving, and I'm a very sympathetic person, compassionate person. I think that there should be something done about that, but it's kind of hard to do anything when you can't tell friend from foe. Um, as you know, Egypt shut their border completely off. They're not allowing any refugees. So I'm looking at this Hamas group and Palestine, the Gaza Strip, and everything, and I'm like, okay, nobody's really come up with a game plan of how to deal with this yet, and I think it's something they need to address sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I mean, in the reality, when you take a look at what's happening in Russia, it's no different, between the Russia and Ukraine. I mean, they've got no resolution to anything that's happened there either. And they're just seems like seamless, endless, just destruction and money being raised on a consistent battle, consistent basis for these battles that are happening. And when is it going to end, and where does it end, and what's going to end it? It doesn't seem like anything's going to end it at this point. So it's, I don't know, to me it's starting to feel like it's senseless fighting, senseless killing. and
Well,
I
we
just
just
don't
got
see
out
what
of
the end. Like, I don't see what's going to end this fighting at this point.
right, and we just got out of what was it, a 21 year war, I think. I think that's the correct number, 21, 22 years. And
That's
then we're
crazy.
right back in one. And
Yeah, no,
so
it feels like it
the
never
guy
ends.
the guy who wants to take all the troops out basically causes by not leaving them in place. And therefore, I look at the Biden administration like you should have never taken them out like that. We left all this equipment over there, all these military weapons over there, all these different technologies, and we just left them there. We didn't even bring them back home. So now we're looking at terrorists who've gotten their hands on our own weapons and on Russia's weapons. And so, it's really our own fault as a country for allowing that to happen, just to be honest. A lot of people don't look at it like that because they don't look at the whole picture. You guys got to remember it wasn't but about 2 years ago that we pulled all the troops out. And the moment we did that, we started, having a lot of issues because of the way we pulled them out. We shouldn't have pulled them out that fast.
Yeah, and they left all of that artillery there. They left guns, planes, tanks. Like, what was that? Like, you gave them all of these
It's
weapons.
I want to say it was about $3 billion just
Yeah,
in
you just left
firearms alone.
all of these weapons for the enemy to just take. Doesn't make any sense. You armed them. You
It's
armed the enemy. So that was just bizarre. That's a whole nother story for another day. All right. So my last question for you: why social media? Why did you get into social media? What is it about social media that you like? What are your goals for social media? And yeah, why did you get into social media?
Well, I originally first got into social media several years back, and it was for men's mental health. That's why I did it. I had a lot of guy friends that were just always down, and I'd gone through enough things at that point in time to where I could kind of voice my opinion in a way to where it would help and have people listen to it. And that's originally why I started getting on social media. And then I found that social media opened up all kinds of avenues. It opened up avenues for networking, for, you can pretty much meet anyone with any career on here. And I think that's what really drew me into it was not only can I help people, but I can also learn at the same time. Um, that's what led me here today was social networking. It literally led me to your doorstep and got me into crypto.
Yeah, and I hope it leads you to lots of success. My last question for you on trending news is this right here. Um, so let's talk about this right here. So a fugitive now, crypto CEO Do Kwon will be extradited to the United States. Now, Do Kwon is the CEO of Terra Luna that pretty much was like a massive, massive disaster and collapse and wiped out $40 billion in value. $40 billion. Can you believe that? $40 billion to zero, pretty much. And so he's been planning to extradite Kwan um, from Montenegro, and Kwan is currently serving a prison sentence of 4 months in Montenegro for possession of foreign passports and forged passports. And Kwan's extradition was approved by the court in Montenegro on November 24th, but it was unclear if he would be handed over to the US or South Korea, where he also is facing fraud charges. So he's dealing with all kinds of problems. And this is what crypto's been about over the years. And this is why people have been scared about crypto, because there's a lot of this fraud and there's all of these scammers. And, one day you're a millionaire or a billionaire, the next day you're going to jail. I mean, this is what crypto's been. When you're new to crypto and you see stories like this, what do you think? Like, what goes through your
Well,
mind when you see this type of stuff? It's like
so
the Wild Wild West, right?
so it kind of is, but at the same time, at first it's discouraging. But as
Of
you
course.
start to like really understand the scenario and how things played out and the way things went down, um, I think that at the same time it also proves that people are going to get caught. Like technology is going to catch up. It's going to be more secure by the day. think it's gotten more secure by the day. Just in my opinion, I think that this is just a form of showing security into crypto, because if you can catch these guys like Sam Bankman-Fried, and then we've got Do Kwon, and then I'm sure there'll be one or two more down the road. Once these things start happening, it's going to show the amount of security that crypto does have to offer as well, in catching these guys and making sure it doesn't happen again, for sure. I think that security will improve technologically.
Well, I'll be honest with you. One of the worst things that's ever happened was last year I got hacked, and that was a terrible feeling. And I got to get very, very secure. I decided to get more secure to protect my crypto. I hope I've been able to do that. I feel like there's got to be even more layers of security that we can do as we get more and more money invested into crypto. We need to protect our crypto. We need to secure our crypto. There's going to be people that are going to always try to steal our crypto. So that's a whole business in itself. So there's so much that's happening in the world of blockchain technology. There's so much happening in the world of technology. And in my opinion, the single greatest investment of our lifetimes is Bitcoin. It's the single greatest investment, in my opinion, of our lifetime. And there's so much technology that will be built around Bitcoin, whether it be Ethereum or NFTs, anything that's built artificial intelligence, anything that's built on the blockchain, a lot of it is because of Bitcoin, because of the Bitcoin adoption, because of people's investments into Bitcoin, because of people's belief into Bitcoin. And then it leads into investments into smaller coins, smaller ideas, smaller businesses. And then those businesses have a chance to grow. And investors have had a chance to take advantage of some of these life-changing opportunities, like we talked about with Shiba Inu last year, Doge last year. Bitcoin has been more of like a 14-year life-changing investment. But if you got into Bitcoin 14 years ago, you've changed your life. I got in 7 years ago, and it's changed my life for the better. And I can't even imagine where I'd be if I got into it 14 years ago. But I'm excited about the fact that I'm in it now. And I'm excited about the fact that I'm going to be in it for the next 14 years. So the question to you guys that are watching is, what are you doing about that? How are you preparing yourself? How are you capitalizing on this wave that's happening right now? And I'm happy to see that you're capitalizing. Congratulations for getting involved, making the leap. And I'm sure you're going to continue to learn, continue to educate yourself. And I hope you have a lot of success during this bull market. And Shady,
Much
thank you for
appreciated,
joining us
Rich.
today, my friend.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything else you want to share with the audience before we say goodbye today, what would it be? Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
Try it for yourself. Watch Rich's videos. Listen to all these different guys. Make your own opinions. Do your own due diligence, and just try it out. I mean, no risk, no reward.
Yeah, and there's no guarantees that you're going to be successful. I'm just going to let you guys know this right now. There's no guarantees you're going to be successful. Bitcoin's already gone up from 16,000 to 44,000 this year. Do I think it's going to go higher? Absolutely. Could it go down? Of course it can. Anything can happen. Like I said, I don't sit there with Shady and hold the market up. But if I did, I would. And believe me, we would. And we would all capitalize together. But I think that as a community, if we share ideas and we share them in real time, I think we can all benefit and we can all grow and make a lot of money together in real time. And that's what is at the heart of Rich TV Live. And I'm going to put the description of your YouTube in the description of this video. So anyone that is watching that resonates with you at home, if you watch this and you've learned about Shady today and you want to learn more about him, follow him on social media, follow him on YouTube and all over social media. And we are live now all over social media. So please, if you haven't, smash the like buttons, comment on the videos. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and follow us everywhere. I'm your host, Rich, from the Rich TV Live podcast. My name is Richard D'Souza. And I want to also wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and a Happy Holidays. And let's finish off 2023 very strong. And let's have a phenomenal and prosperous 2024. And Shady, thank you for joining us today, my friend.
Absolutely, Rich.
All right, my
Thank you
friend.
for
Have
having me.
a great day. Always a pleasure, buddy. We'll see you soon. And for those of you guys that are watching, if you're not winning, you're probably not watching. We bring in the winners, CEO interviews, engaging shows with great guests like today. and we bring it to you first. Thank you for watching. I'm your host of the most, your boy Rich from Rich TV, and I'm out. Peace. Shady, we'll see you soon, my friend.